Almost a year ago I reviewed a very interesting indie game called 100 Fires: The Rise of Red Star. 100 Fires is a series of stealth-based games by David Amado Fernandez that originally started on Android and now, with the Rise of Red Star, made its way to PC and Nintendo Switch. The best way to describe those games would be they are like Metal Gear on acid. Well, no wait, can't say it like that. More like Metal Gear on memes. It is clearly supposed to be a total parody of the Metal Gear franchise. And I remember when I reviewed the first part back then, many people didn't seem to get the parody part at all, and treated this game like a ripoff of Metal Gear, saying it will be taken down for copyright reasons. Well, that's just not how parody works at all. Ever noticed how certain movies and games have disclaimers saying something like, "This is a work of fiction and is based purely on the author's imagination. Any resemblance to actual persons or events is purely coincidental." Well, guess what? This game has one of those too. And this is exactly why now, finally, we get a second episode. Now, I have to say those games are probably made by just one single person and therefore not very long. Although the second episode is a tick longer than the first one, has better gameplay, less bugs and better boss fights, still this review includes heavy spoilers for the first and second episode, so if you would rather like to experience those games yourself, then go and do it. Anyway, the name of the main character is Valero Montenegro, who is clearly supposed to be a parody version of Snake. He even sounds roughly the same.
Is this possible? The President of the United States? How can you be here?
That's because I'm not really here.
And he gets recruited by none other than JFK, the President of the United States, to infiltrate a base in Cuba where the bad guys allegedly have nuclear missiles. You know, the usual stuff. Anyway, by the end of the first episode, after Snake, Montenegro, gets his ass kicked by none other than El-Che personally, he then gets captured by the Japanese weapons developer, who has no name, but who is pretty much Hideo Kojima himself, and apparently the evil mastermind behind everything, and even has his very own flying Metal Gear, insert overrated Star Wars joke here. And also, to make things even more complicated, this flying Metal Gear is apparently controlled by Montenegro's daughter Merche, similar like Psycho Mantis was necessary to actually make Sahelanthropus work, I guess. And so, after such an intense cliffhanger, we finally get to the second episode, where the story continues. Just like in the first game, there is also a bunch of VR missions you can do here. There is, however, also a new mode that has been added, called the Infinite Gear mode. Here you can fight your way through a randomly generated base to take down a Metal Gear boss at the end, except that they are called Mecha Gear. Since it is randomly generated, it is supposed to be a new experience every time. Anyway, to the main story. Okay, bear with it, because this will sound absolutely insane.
What is the result of the electroencephalogram? Is it a blue lizard?
No, but there's definitely a lizard nearby. This is nothing more than a host, a repeater.
Okay, so here we have El-Che, Hideo Kojima, because I refuse to call him anything else, and fucking Stalin in a robo-suit. I mean, I understand his design is supposed to be based on this guy here, obviously, but come on, they gave him sickle hands! Sickle hands, because, you know, the flag of the Soviet Union had... Yeah, his other arm should have been a hammer, damn it. Anyway, this crazy lot are talking some absolute nonsense about blue lizards, like lizard people who live inside of humans and use them as hosts or something. So they want to perform a freaking lobotomy on Montenegro to extract a thing called a repeater from his brain, because that way they will be able to expose the lizard. And the most crazy thing about all this is, they want to do it through the eye socket, and you can even choose which eye you want to sacrifice. Of course, I decided it would be the right eye, because I want to be just like Big Box. But Mr. Montenegro had quite a different idea.
Both.
to never see one of your cinematic whores again.
That low blow! Ernesto, prepare the operating room. Very good. I'll choose...
You know, the funny thing is, the whole plot will actually kinda make sense later on. The crazy storyline here could actually be very well compared to the plot of the Iron Sky movies, in case you are familiar with those. But anyway, of course, they fail to extract the repeater and you get thrown into a cell. The mysterious woman, who indeed turns out to be Montenegro's daughter Merche, helps you escape. And so we do what snakes do best: crawl through vents, suffocate unsuspecting soldiers, and so on. The gameplay is pretty much the same as in the first episode. You can switch between the classic view from above, like in the first Metal Gear Solid games, and the normal third-person view, which makes the game way easier. Although, just as I already mentioned, there are less bugs than in the previous episode. The only one I actually encountered was once when I loaded the game and somehow had a weapon in my inventory which I had not picked up yet, which was not really a big deal because I did pick it up like half a minute later anyway. The rest of the gameplay is pretty much what you'd expect from a Metal Gear game. There are places, for example, where you need night vision goggles to see the normally invisible lasers. There are also places with poison gas where you have to equip a gas mask to make it through. And there are also places with an electric floor. Seems familiar, right? Merche will even make a comment how a Nikita guided missile would have been useful, but I guess it would have been a pain in the ass to program something like that, so instead we just have to throw grenades through windows, which can be kinda problematic sometimes. Okay, let's see. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, let's try again. How about like this? Nope. Maybe more like this. Oh, come on! Yeah, somebody's alerted, but whatever. Ooh, I did it! I did it! Yes! And of course, there is also your best friend, the box. Makes it really easy to sneak past pretty much everything. I mean, I have no idea how he knows where he is going, since there are no holes in this wooden box, but whatever, I guess he is just that badass. And of course, let's not forget the memes. I don't know if that counts towards gameplay, but yes, there is this here, for example. Yes, very interesting. Or this. I guess I was too lazy to type it into Google Translate, so I actually don't know what the heck this is. And this here, of course. Found you, Mr. Fernandez, you cheeky dev. As far as the story goes, once you meet with Merche in person, she will explain that this place is actually a Russian nuclear weapons facility capable of efficiently nuking any place on Earth, and much more. So we have to use a virus to disable the nukes and then make our escape.
Okay, yes. We must hurry. Before escaping. We must disable the launch bases, so their missiles cannot be used.
How will we do that?
There are 2 drop zones, one in the east and one in the west of the base, each one with a different launch protocol. With this USB pin drive, we can prevent the launch.
Wait a minute, does this drive look kinda suspicious to you? So it was a computer virus all along. Now it all actually makes sense, doesn't it? But yes, this is pretty much what the second part of the game is about. Stop evil Russians with nuclear missiles. I mean, they actually go out there and try to explain the whole repeater thing too. Also, this right here is not my edit, this is part of the actual cutscene. They try to connect it to the Philadelphia experiment somehow. You watched the movie, right? Well, similar case here. Also, somehow even after watching this cutscene, I do understand how this technology was created, but it does not explain who the heck and how implanted this repeater chip into Montenegro's brain. Or why, as a matter of fact. But yeah, maybe we will find out more in the third episode. There better be a third episode, because seriously, those games are a lot of fun. Crazy, ridiculous, but still a lot of fun. and they managed to wake a lot of fond memories of the actual Metal Gear games. Whoa, I don't like the layout of this room. I sure hope there will be no badass boss with a huge chain gun or something like that. I guess I was worried for nothing. Anyway, time to disable those nukes.
Success. Welcome David Amado Fernandez. You are going to hack your nuclear launch terminal. Virus installation is 50% complete. Please to complete this process you must install the virus in the West Core 2. Sorry for the inconvenience.
What a polite computer! And it speaks in English despite being in a Russian military base. Whatever, half the missiles are disabled, now only oh you son of a bitch. I knew it.
Killed you!
Are you Stalin? You should be dead.
But I have to say, the boss fights in this episode are really way cooler than in the first. This guy here was actually a bit of a challenge.
I'll rip your guts out with my sickle and smash your head with my hammer. I will feast.
I found that claymores are the best way to deal with him, since we don't have Nikitas in this game. The claymores really did the trick. But one way or another, this boss fight here is a very good example for why those games are actually a lot of fun, and also how much this indie developer has improved in terms of gameplay over time. The story, while being absolutely ridiculous, still kinda makes sense here and there, and also makes you want to see more, especially considering what happens in the end of the second episode. I will not spoil the ending of course, but let me just tell you the ending is even more crazy than anything so far, and it's even more of a cliffhanger than the one in the end of the first episode. So in other words, I definitely had a lot of fun with this game and recommend to try it to every Metal Gear fan out there, and I certainly hope to see more of it.